In 1 Peter 2, 11 through 12, we're challenged on this election day to think of our role in society differently than we might be focusing on today. It's important to get out and vote. I think it's a beautiful thing that we have the right as Americans in this great American experiment to voice our perspective, and I think we should vote from a biblical worldview and from that grace and truth perspective by which Jesus lived and loved in this world if we're going to be his followers. But we also have to understand that there are going to be times that probably there's going to be a rub against both parties and most of the philosophies and worldviews of this planet, because the distinction that we bring into this world is, as 1 Peter 2, 11 through 12 says, we are to live as foreigners and exiles, like we're pilgrims. We're just passing through. So as you vote today, remind yourself that you are first and foremost not a part of this world. You're a part of God's eternal kingdom. But in this world, we're to be unique and distinct so that others can see the reality of Christ lived out in us. That's not always easy, and there are times when the values of this world are not going to be the values of his kingdom, and people are going to push back. The more our country drifts from some of the foundational values of the Judeo-Christian ethic, if you will, and those values, the more we're going to see some pushback toward us. And yet we read in 1 Peter 2:12, it says here that live such good lives among the pagans, live such good lives in this world, that though they accuse you of doing wrong, they say you're not living up to our values, or you're calling this sin and we don't think it's sin anymore, that there's going to be something distinct, that they may see your good deeds and glorify God on the day he visits us, that they're going to notice in you something that is so distinct and so real and so sweet and so genuine that you're living in a way in which you love your neighbor every day, that even when they say, I don't get it, they don't believe this and they don't hold that value and they're pushing back on this and they're not with the times, or they're not, they look and say, but there's something that still is genuine, real, and different about them, because they live as a part of a different kingdom that transcends all this. I notice something in them, and their hearts and their minds are pointed toward Jesus. So go out and vote today, but remind yourself that the greatest impact you make is not in how you vote. The greatest impact you make is that you live in such a way that it is so distinct that even when the world around you doesn't agree with your values, they can't deny the reality of your love for them and your kindness toward them, and that will point them to our God.